Do you remember your very first password? Maybe it was something simple like ASDF 123, or if you were feeling spicy, maybe password 1. We've come a long way since then, mostly. Today, we're told that good password hygiene might include 16 characters at a minimum, at least one uppercase, one lowercase, one number, a special character, and one ancient rune from a dead language. And, oh yeah, it must be unique for every website you've ever logged into since 1998. If you're like most people, you responded to this impossible requirement by doing the obvious thing, using the same password for Netflix, Google, and your bank. Obviously, that's a bad idea, so password managers came to the rescue. Magical vaults that promise to remember everything for you, keep it all safe, and maybe even make you feel like a cybersecurity wizard. But are password managers really the digital fortresses they're sold as? Or are you just handing the keys to your life over to another company that might get hacked next Wednesday? Today I explain password managers. Welcome back to Dad Explains Everything. Last time I ruined third-party VPN services. They're useful tools with overhyped marketing. I've also recently explained indoor air quality, and how online job applications and ATSs are broken. Today I'm explaining password managers, the humble, helpful cybersecurity utilities that are usually trying to keep us safe. You've probably heard of LastPass, 1Password, Dashlane, Bitwarden, Keeper, KeePass, enpass, and maybe even the built-in ones inside Chrome, Safari, or Firefox. They all promise peace of mind in a chaotic digital world. But if you know me, you already know that when a company promises you invulnerability for $3.99 a month, the reality is going to be a bit messier. Some of these tools are not like the others, so grab your master password, assuming you remember it, and let's dive in. We can start with a brief history of passwords, and their problems. Passwords are as old as computing itself. In the 1960s, MIT's compatible time-sharing system was one of the first systems with password-based logins. Fun fact, the entire password file was once accidentally printed out for all users. Whoops. In the 1970s, Unix incorporated crypt. It was the first real attempt at secure password hashing, and not bad for the time. In the 1980s, we had early corporate networks. Shared passwords written on sticky notes taped to monitors became the norm. Passwords like system or admin weren't exactly Fort Knox. In the 1990s, we had the explosion of online accounts. Suddenly, you didn't just have one or two logins. You had dozens. Cue IT guys crying softly in their server rooms. In the 2000s, we enter the reuse era. With hundreds of websites, people naturally reuse the same passwords everywhere. Enter credential stuffing, where hackers use one stolen password from MySpace to unlock your bank account. The modern era started in 2008 and continues to this day. Here we have password managers. Companies like LastPass and 1Password saw the writing on the wall and started selling digital vaults to help keep track of it all for you. The premise was simple. Remember one master password and the software remembers the rest. For a while it looked like they'd cracked the problem, but like all things in security, nothing stays unbroken forever. So I'm going to get into a brief explanation of the models of password manager architecture. In general, these solutions are designed with different levels of locality and inherent understanding of the underlying data. It's this understanding where the term zero knowledge comes in. In plain English, it means that the provider can't decrypt your data even if they wanted to. Encryption and decryption happen locally on your device with keys derived from your master password. The upside here is that even if the provider is hacked or subpoenaed, they can't hand over plain text credentials. The downside is you can't reset your account if you ever forget your master password. You'll also hear Zero Trust, which is a security-focused architectural choice that keeps the sharing of data and the assumed level of access between the services or components of an application as tightly regulated as possible. As far as locality goes, password managers more or less come in four main flavors. The first is browser-based managers, like those found in Chrome, Edge, Safari, Firefox, and other browsers. They're convenient because they're built directly into your browser. They auto-suggest passwords, save them, and even sync across your devices if you have a Google, Apple, or Microsoft account. So the pros are that they're convenient, free, and you're already logged in. The cons are that if someone compromises your Google account, they may get the whole vault. Are these zero knowledge? No. Google, Apple, and Microsoft can technically decrypt your data since they control the sync infrastructure and the keys. The second type is cloud-based managers, and this includes products like LastPass, Dashlane, Keeper, 1Password in cloud mode, and Bitwarden. With these managers, your encrypted vault lives in the cloud. You can log in from anywhere, on any device. And the pros are that it's super convenient and it automatically syncs. The cons are that it's a giant honeypot for hackers. And here's where zero knowledge comes in. Bitwarden, 1Password, Keeper, and Dashlane all advertise zero-knowledge encryption. That means your provider never has your master password or the keys to decrypt your vault. Everything is encrypted locally, and only ciphertext is stored on their servers. Even if the company is hacked, in theory, the attackers only get scrambled data. But LastPass also claims zero knowledge, and they had a breach in 2022 which showed the limits of that promise. While vault contents were encrypted, attackers still got vault metadata, URLs, usernames, vault structure. That was enough to be damaging, even if they didn't retrieve the actual passwords. So that's an object lesson that zero knowledge doesn't mean invulnerable. It just means we can't peek at your secrets ourselves. It doesn't protect you from weak master passwords, phishing, or malware on your device. The third type is local-only managers, including products like KeePass, KeePass XC, and enpass offline. With these, your vault is in a file stored locally. You handle your own syncing via Dropbox, iCloud, Google, or SneakerNet with a USB stick. The pros are that you keep total control. Attackers can't just grab your vault from the cloud. The cons are that if you lose your file, you lose your passwords. And if your computer gets compromised, the vault goes with it. Zero knowledge? By default, yes. There's no third party to know anything. But there's also no one to blame if you screw it up. And the fourth category is enterprise password managers like CyberArk, HashiCorp Vault, and 1Password Business. These are designed for companies with hundreds of users. They have features like auditing, role-based access, and password sharing without actually revealing the password. The pros are that you get business-grade features. The cons are that it's extremely attractive to attackers. One breach and you're inside a Fortune 500 company. Zero knowledge? It depends. Some enterprise setups rely on company-controlled keys or key escrow, which means admins or attackers who compromise them can still decrypt user vaults. Marketing might say zero knowledge, but in practice the business needs usually override it. No matter the architecture, they're just digital safes. And history has proven one thing about safes. Given enough time, someone will try to crack them. Which leads us to a history of password manager hacks. Password managers aren't theoretical targets. They've been repeatedly hacked. I'll start this incomplete history with LastPass in 2015. Hackers stole email addresses, authentication hashes, and password reminders. Users were told, "Don't worry, your vaults are still encrypted." The translation is, "We lost your data, but we hope that the encryption holds up." In 2017, OneLogin was compromised. Attackers gained access to AWS keys. Company-admitted hackers could decrypt data. And that's not the kind of thing you want to hear from your security provider. In 2021, passwordstate was also hacked. It was a supply chain attack, and hackers pushed a malicious update. Customers literally downloaded malware from their trusted password manager. In 2022, we get LastPass, the sequel. Attackers compromised a developer's account. They stole backups of customer vaults. Vault contents were encrypted, but the metadata wasn't. That means hackers got a shopping list of every site that you use, your usernames, and vault structure. Imagine burglars don't know your lock combination, but they know that you own 3 safes and the exact rooms that they're in. Yeah, not good. In 2023, there was a KeePass exploit. The vulnerability allowed recovery of the master password from memory after it was typed. This isn't really an internet hack, but proof that even local solutions can have cracks. These aren't small oopsies. They're proof that password managers are juicy, high-value targets and that hackers are happy to wait years to find cracks. So let me get specific about what password managers can and can't protect you from. What they help against are weak passwords, reused across accounts, forgetting credentials, and losing access when you change devices. But what they don't protect against are phishing. If you hand over your master password on a fake site, game over. They don't protect you against device compromise. Keylogger malware can grab your master password as you type. Screen capture malware can snap the entire vault once it's open. Cloud breaches. If your provider gets hacked, attackers may get metadata or vault blobs. Company integrity. You're trusting the vendor. Remember VPN providers claiming no logs before handing logs over to the FBI? Same risk here. And autofill side channels. Some managers autofill credentials automatically. A malicious site in an iframe can slurp them up. So while password managers reduce some risks, they absolutely don't eliminate them. But let me tell you why password managers still make sense today. After all that doom, you'd think I'd tell you to go back to sticky notes. But no. Password managers still make sense because the alternative is worse. Without them, people reuse their password across 20 different accounts. They pick weak passwords. Or people forget and reset constantly, which often involves insecure email resets. With password managers, every site can have a unique 20-character nonsense string, which you also don't reuse, and you can store notes, two-factor authentication recovery codes, and even credit card information securely. Even after the LastPass hacks, experts said don't ditch password managers, ditch LastPass. In case you're wondering what password manager I use KeePass XC and KeePass DX. Should you? It depends. It seems I create controversy when I create lists, but here we are again. At number 1, I have KeePass, and forks like KeePass XC and KeePass DX. The pros are that they're completely free and open source. I like that they're local first and that you're responsible for your own vault. And there's a huge plugin ecosystem. The cons are that it's got a less polished UI, setup can be complex, and that the synchronization is do-it-yourself. For those reasons, KeePass is best for power users who want full control and don't mind setting up the syncing. At number 2 is Bitwarden. The pros are that it's fully open source for both the server and its clients. It's got a zero-knowledge design. You can self-host if you want, but there's also an affordable cloud option. Cons are that the UI is functional but less polished than 1Password, and it requires discipline to keep a self-host patched if you go that route. It's best for people who want open source, transparency, and value. At number 3, I have 1Password. The pros are that it has a polished UI and it has excellent apps across multiple platforms. It has great features like travel mode and secret key, and it has a strong security culture and fast patches. The cons are that it's closed source, though it is audited regularly, and it's subscription only with no local hosting option. It's best for families and teams who want ease of use and strong security. If you have strong feelings about the order that I've put these solutions in, you should know that it reflects my personal preferences and that really all of these solutions are fine. But speaking of strong feelings, here are the password managers I would avoid and why I would avoid them. LastPass. I already mentioned there are multiple breaches, but they also have poor incident response and questionable security practices. Dashlane. This was once a very solid product. Now it's overpriced with declining reputation and less transparency. Zoho Vault is enterprise focused, but they have a weak track record when it comes to individual usability and security. This last one isn't a specific product. It's any random app store manager. Many free apps on iOS or Android claim to be password managers and are either insecure or straight-up data harvesters. Having gotten to the end of both lists, you might ask, where's my favorite password manager? ProtonPass, for example, is pretty new, and I haven't used it. I've heard good things, but I haven't looked into it deeply. So, per usual, if you want me to look into any of your preferred solutions that I haven't covered here, drop them in the comments below and I will try to respond to all requests. As far as my recommendations go, they are KeePass, Bitwarden, and 1Password. So you've decided to use a password manager. Here are the best practices to not screw it up. 1. Pick a strong master password, something long, unique, and memorable to you. A passphrase is best as opposed to random gibberish, especially since you should be using a zero-knowledge solution. 2. If you're using a cloud-based solution, enable two-factor authentication on your manager and your critical accounts. And remember, two-factor authentication with SMS is like no two-factor authentication at all. 3. Use an audited manager, like Bitwarden or 1Password, or an open-source solution like KeePass. 4. Disable autofill, or at least limit it to trusted domains. 5. Keep backups of your vault. Print recovery kits and store them securely, like in a fire safe. 6. Update software regularly. Exploits generally target outdated clients. As happens in my videos sometimes, here's the plot twist. I think passwords are living on borrowed time. Here are some of the technologies trying to make us not as single-threaded on password use. Passkeys. Apple, Google, and Microsoft are enthusiastically promoting these. Instead of passwords, you use your fingerprint, Face ID, or a hardware key. Credentials are unique per site and can't be reused. Biometrics. These are convenient but flawed. Your fingerprint can be copied, your face can be deepfaked, and you can't exactly reset your thumbprint if it leaks. Multi-factor everything. More accounts now require two-factor authentication, whether via codes, apps, or hardware tokens. As I alluded to before, be aware that two-factor authentication using SMS is not secure. Will we live in a passwordless future? Probably. Eventually. But right now, in 2025, password managers are still the least bad option. So the bottom line is that password hygiene is important, and that password managers aren't scams. They're genuinely useful tools in a broken system. They're not invincible, they've been hacked, they're juicy targets, and they rely on you doing your part. At the end of the day, password managers don't eliminate risk, they centralize it. Instead of juggling 200 weak locks, you're betting everything on one strong lock. And in the case of local password managers, that lock is only accessible in a couple places. But just like the care you have to take when selecting a third-party VPN provider, you have to select a password manager that you can trust. Depending on which of the recommended solutions you go for, they're anywhere from safe and secure to extremely safe and secure. So I hope password managers are sufficiently explained for you, or for someone you're about to forward this to who's still using Dragon 420 exclamation on everything. If you found this video helpful, horrifying, or just relatable, hit like, subscribe, and drop the worst password you've ever used in the comments. Bonus points if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thanks, and may all your master passwords be memorable, your vaults be encrypted, and your trust never misplaced. Have a great day.